One of our last big ideas in terms of skeletal muscle, before we move on to other types of muscles and the end of the chapter, is the difference between slow twitch and fast twitch muscles. You might have heard that, or you might know people who say, I can only move slow, or I sprint, I don't run. Things like that. What we're looking at with muscle fibers are at least two, depending on how you split them down, and as many as seven different types of muscle fibers. And I say that the difference is primarily in the myosin molecules. Not going into how or why on that, but it's going to be the myosin molecules that are different. And if you think about it, it makes sense because they're the ones that move. So actin sits there and waits for things to happen. Myosin moves. So we're looking at slow twitch versus fast twitch fibers. The twitch, how fast they contract, your myogram. Slow twitch fibers first. We call them type 1. Contraction is slow. It doesn't mean they're not good for stuff. Slow twitch fibers are primarily your endurance fibers. If you see a true distance runner, and they run and they run and they run forever, but then you ask them to sprint, and they swing their arms harder, and I've seen many of these. Great distance runners, and you go sprint, and they go, I'm trying. And it's just this. Might be a little faster, a little scootier, but for the most part, slow twitch fibers keep going consistently without using a ton of energy. Red color. Why? They need a good blood supply. Now, when I'm talking red, I don't mean red. Think meat. There are going to be two extra web pages attached to this, actually looking at meat, at muscle that you eat, in terms of slow versus fast twitch fibers and color. The type of metabolism used, and it makes sense for endurance sports, is aerobic, at rest or with light activity. These are used in exercise such as distance running, endurance cycling, endurance swimming, power walking, anything you're doing consistently without big bursts of speed. And the great news is, with repeated use, these fibers develop the greater aerobic capacity that we talked about before. More mitochondria, more efficient energy production. These are small size, weak contraction. I think of a true distance runner with these, people that just run forever. We get a couple every year. I put them in the weight room. I say, okay, we're gonna bench. I can't lift the bar. And they can't. They mean it. A lot of times, these muscle fibers are great for contracting continually, but are not very strong as a result. So fast twitch fibers are the opposite. These are going to be quick contracting fibers. You'll see in your notes that it says they're white. Again, not white, lighter in color. Like white meat chicken. It's light. The type of metabolism used is anaerobic. These are great for quick bursts of activity. That's what fast twitch fibers live for. That's what they do. Sprinting, throwing, powerlifting. And with use, you develop greater strength and speed. So again, the value of practice, the value of training. These are usually bulkier with strong contractions. And this is the point. I know it comes up later. I'm going to tell you that to be athletic, you do not have to have a dominance of one fiber type. A lot of times, if you are or do, it's helpful for a specific sport. But you can play a sport and not have a dominant fiber. You can be athletic to the extreme, but not be dominant in a fiber type. It's coming from how you use the muscles and the skill you have instead. So don't hear me say if you don't have a dominance of a fiber type, you can't do this. Doesn't work that way. You also might be thinking, well, what if I'm in between? Fast twitch muscles can be subdivided. You can go type 2A or type 2B. We call the generic fast twitch fiber a type 2 fiber. But there's A and B here. What I just talked about, the power lifter, the sprinter, is type 2. They're fast twitch glycolytic. So this is going to be anaerobic respiration, using your energy quickly, and once you're done, you're done. Like the sprinter laying at the end after the 100 meters going, I'm done for the day, that's what I got. There's the other alternative, which to me, it makes me think of the dog that chases the ball over, and it brings it back over and over. And that dog will chase the ball till it falls over, till it can't move. And the dog will still want to chase the ball. When I think of type 2, it's called fast twitch oxidative, meaning that it's a fast reply muscle, but using aerobic respiration instead of anaerobic. So you're not quite as fast, not quite as strong as your type 2B fibers, but you get the benefit of aerobic respiration supporting the fibers, which means that you're able to use oxygen, you're not burning through your glucose as quickly, and you're getting repeated bursts of speed, maybe, or strength, maybe not as rapidly building up as a type 2B, but fast. So in normal muscle, we're looking at 50-50. Can you have a muscle in your body? Can you do just a dominant slow and a dominant fast muscle? Yes. In your lower leg, you have the big muscle on the back, which is called the gastrocnemius. It's the calf. It's the heart-shaped one in people with well-developed muscles, and it is fast twitch. If you jump, and I say if, I don't jump. I try to avoid that. That's like ham. I try to avoid that. If you jump, you use your gastrocnemius. It's explosive, it's powerful, and when I sprint, it gets sore because that's a few and far between. You have a muscle on the outside of your leg called the soleus, and it's primarily slow twitch. When you walk, when you run distance, things that aren't strenuous, you use your soleus. It gets sore when I walk a lot. Every November, the cross-country team and I go to Heinz Field to sell football programs, and I walk like 14 miles in a day, and that's one of the sorest things on me because of it being a slow twitch muscle and it being what I'm relying on to walk laps around Heinz Field. So, if you were a chicken, I would have a different answer for you. If you were a chicken, you would have legs with dark meat. You would have slow twitch, red fibers in your legs. Chickens, they do pretty good. They scoot around. Most of your days, your chickens are walking, eating crap off the ground, looking for more crap to eat off the ground, smelling weird, doing chicken things. But if you've ever seen a chicken fly, it's a process. It's a process. It's not a thing. Like, they don't want to. But they can. And they get off the ground, get the wings going, but this was a bad idea. I'm a chicken. I'm done. Fast twitch muscles in the white meat of the breast. Get the wings going. The chicken pectoralis gets the wings going for a while, but not very long. The legs go all the time. Light meat versus dark meat. Red versus white. So an individual muscle can be dominantly slow or fast twitch. Now, onto the sports idea for this, and this is what you're going to be writing an essay about on your next test. There are sports that are favored for each muscle fiber type. If you have a dominance of type 1 fibers, come run cross country for me. It's endurance fibers. These are muscle types that definitely support endurance. Lightweight, slow contraction. I know when I run cross-country lengths, like 5 and 10K, I always joke with the great race that I feel like a hippopotamus on the savannah, and I am not very big. But a lot of distance runners are substantially smaller built than I am. Like, their muscles are the size of their bones. They're very tiny. I am actually pretty muscular for a distance runner. I am not naturally a distance runner. I'm a distance runner because I'm stubborn, not because I have type 1 fibers. For type 2B, these are the people that go in the weight room and are like, hey, watch me throw this in the air. Watch me break this squat rack because of how much I can lift. Watch me curl this. It weighs more than you do. That's what I think of when I think of type 2B. Or, hey, you want to race me? I'll give you a 50 meters head start, and they still beat me in the 100. Those are the people I think of. For type 2A, field sports. Here we go. Field sports are my thing. I am that little dog that chases the ball all day, every day. All I do is run. It paid for a nice chunk of my college education when I played midfield for lacrosse. Because if you've ever played midfield or you've seen somebody, same idea as midfield for soccer. You run to this end. Oh, wait, there went the ball. You run to this end. The ball might go this way, so you run part way and you run back, and then the ball goes that way. And you just keep doing it. So if you are a type 2A muscle fiber dominance, that's what you do. Repeated bursts of strenuous activity. That was about all I was good at for basketball. Running up and down and 5 fouls to give, as my mother put it. The talents you have for sports, again, don't come from this. Skill is something different. Practice is something much different. But if you have a dominance of a certain muscle fiber type, you are able to sort of have an advantage in terms of play. If I weren't able to run so many times up and down the field, lacrosse would have just relied on me being mean. I was mean too. Now think about it though. I'm telling you I'm a type 2A fiber, but you guys know I run marathons. My friend that I run with also, I would say, type 2A. You can train to do other things. Like I said at the beginning, I don't run distance because I'm type 1 fibers. I run distance because I'm stubborn. It works. So with fiber types, you are able to train them to do other things. And the size of the fiber also comes from genetics. Some people are built bulkier than others. I had a kid once ask me, this was one of my mean moments, and I tried to be nice. He said, do I have type 1 or type 2A muscle fibers? A center at hockey. He said that to me, and I looked at him and I said, please don't take this the wrong way, but your legs are way too big to be a type 1 fiber. And I realized how mean I sounded, but the bulk he carried in his legs hinted at some different muscle fiber type, even though he was able to play forever. It turned out when he thought about it that the sprints up and down the ice were more type 2A. So your essay, and I'll go over this again, is going to be you need to pick yourself, another Yacht athlete, or a famous athlete. And you're going to need 5 sentences about which muscle fiber type do you think they're dominant and why. So you can't use mine, but if you think through some of the runners, you might find an answer that's similar for type 2A. So I would say something like, I'm type 2A, I think, because I'm good for repeated bursts of strenuous activity. I'm not as fast as a sprinter, but I'm still pretty quick. I'm also decently strong. This muscle fiber type, and then give me a description. It's red, uses aerobic, metabolism, bulkier than a type 1. Get into the description. Maybe I'll write one up about myself and post it. That would work. If you check out your charts with the characteristics of the muscle fiber type, it's a nice summary of these. You're going to have a section on the test, some questions about, I guess it'll be the essay about this on the test, so it is important. And that's what I got for today. Have a good one.